So, as you may or may not know, Jade Shadows introduced a bunch of new mods. Now these mostly have to do with status, and we've already tried one of them in yesterday's video. It was Rifle Elementalist. Well, today I'm gonna try one of the other new mods. One from the Cannonade set. There are 3 of these: semi-rifle, shotgun, and pistol Cannonade, and they only work with semi-automatic weapons. Now what they do is they prevent you from modifying your fire rate in any way, shape or form, and in return they give you a ton of damage as well as some punch through. Today we're going to be focusing on semi-rifle Cannonade, and our weapon of choice is going to be the Kuva Chakurr. This is an absolutely ridiculous weapon that does pure impact damage with a forced impact proc on direct hits, as well as a bunch of puncture, slash and blast with a 2.9 meter explosion. On top of all of that, it sports a 50% crit chance, a 2.3 times crit multiplier, and a 27% status chance with very high accuracy, though relatively low fire rate. Now because this is a Kuva weapon, the only way to get it is by vanquishing a lich that's wielding it. And for this particular setup that we're gonna do, it doesn't really matter what kind of bonus element you get on it. So let's give it a shot, shall we? So this is just like a bunch of damage and punch through, and then you can't modify fire rate. Interesting. I'm guessing you get a lot more damage than you would get from something like Serration or Hornet Strike, plus the punch through, so they're definitely gonna be worth it if you don't want to modify fire rate, or you want to use mods that lower your fire rate. So let's max them out. Semi-rifle Cannonade. 240% damage, 1.5 meters of punch through. That's actually awesome for a mod that drains 9 capacity. That is so much better than Serration, oh my god. Let's get internal bleeding in here because of the low fire rate and the force impact procs. Let's also get galvanized aptitude, which I believe is multiplicative because the Chakurr is projectile based. And let's use galvanized scope for crit. Deadhead should be a-okay because the Chakurr does a ton of upfront damage, so getting headshot kills shouldn't be that difficult. Plus we get the headshot multiplier, though you could go with a different arcane because we already have base damage from the Cannonade. Vital Sense for some crit damage. I mean, we might as well run Vigilante Supplies for the set bonus. Now we're gonna get Rifle Elementalist, which also gives us punch through, so we're gonna have loads. Yeah, 2.1 meters, that's gonna be awesome. Plus the status damage, of course. And I mean, if we're going all the way, like absolutely bonkers with status damage, we might as well put on a Bane mod, though we don't have the right polarity in there, so we're gonna have to reformat this. Let's switch that into a V. Let's get that... Blah. Right. Kuva weapon, we need to max it out first. I forgot to check, but luckily it was enough. This is a bit of a weird build, very new school, but it should work really well. We have a lot of different multipliers for slash, so we should be seeing some absolutely massive, disgusting numbers. I want to do it without Herald, just so it's cleaner and we can actually see the damage we're doing. Ramp up should be fine. Yep, just one shot. This thing does a ridiculous amount of damage. Plus we have the Cannonade, which gives us base damage, so yep. What about the slash though? This is gonna be gross. Ooh, 937k tick. That is disgusting. My god. That is insanely high. What about you, Bombardman? Oof. Yeah, that's gross. That is gross. Jesus Christ. Let's do a proper mission test. I think I'm gonna like Cannonade builds because I just like having some base damage so I don't have to rely on the arcanes alone, because the ramp up sometimes, especially on some weapons that don't have a ton of upfront damage, is pretty bad. The splash damage from the explosion is actually really good. I didn't expect it to be too great because we don't have like any elemental damage or anything, but it's actually pretty decent. Oh my god, I just realized something. I didn't swap the Bane mod. We're still running Prime Bane of Grineer. The funny thing is, I didn't realize that I was using the wrong Bane mod because the damage was bad. The damage is tremendous. I'm one-shooting pretty much everything here. I just sort of remembered that I'm running a Bane mod and that I did not swap it when going here. Yeah, this feels fantastic. I am liking this an awful lot. Unfortunately, I was too fast, so no Acolyte. The fact that we were using the wrong Bane mod and we still had plenty of damage makes me want to run Hammershot instead. Because that way we get more crit damage and more status chance, so we get more heat and impact procs. So I think Hammershot is just like a good all-around option here. We could also run Primed Firestorm for more AoE. That would also be an option here. Let's see how that Hammershot do, eh? I'm still surprised by the splash damage, because the damage we're getting from it is not insignificant. It actually does quite a bit, though that might have to do with the fact that I do have a heat-based Chakurr, 50% heat, so we're getting some heat procs from the explosions as well. The build is absolutely not perfect, by the way. I would love to have more fire rate because it feels quite low. There is quite a bit of delay between shots, and I would love to have more reload speed. I was actually considering swapping to Merciless just to get the reload speed from it. I need to slow the hell down. We're clearing the missions too fast and then we're not getting acolytes. Let's do a Corpus test as well. Ramp up is good. So far, no issues whatsoever. That's always good to see. We're not doing enough damage to blast through their shield gate and actually kill them, which is fine because it's a slash build at the end of the day. So we like break their shield gate with the direct damage and then the slash proc kills them. I'm pretty sure this is gonna massacre everything, so this is gonna be good against everything. It's just a really strong setup. I like this for the same reason that I like the Even song. You have ridiculous single target, more than on the Even song, but you have some AoE, so it doesn't feel bad. Also, no acolyte. Again. Oh, now this is something. I was trying this in like exterminates and all that, but I decided to do survival so that I can finally get an acolyte. And the high density really highlights the power of the AoE on this. I feel like weapons nowadays, especially semi-autos like this, need some sort of AoE, otherwise they just feel really bad. Or some kind of an effect, like it ricochets or something. Just straight up single target semi-auto is a bit slow. Finally, and it's Mania, the worst acolyte. I hate Mania. The damage is great, it's just that it's Mania and Mania is a douchebag. Put me down. Absolute bellend. There you go. Sit down. So here's the final build for the Kuva Chakurr using the new semi-rifle Cannonade as well as the new rifle Elementalist. We're using internal bleeding because the Chakurr has a forced impact proc on direct hits and we also have low enough fire rate to get double the effect. Then we have a trio of galvanized mods, galvanized chamber for multi-shot, scope for crit chance and aptitude for status chance and condition overload, which I'm fairly sure is multiplicative on the direct hits because this is a projectile based weapon. We followed that up with vital sense for crit damage, hammer shot for even more crit damage and additional status chance, and then we have semi-rifle Cannonade and rifle Elementalist. These provide a ton of damage, punch through, as well as status damage. We also have Vigilante supplies in the Exiles. You don't necessarily need this for the ammo mutation, but if you're not running this on your pet, the extra crit you get from the set bonus is always nice. And for the Arcane, we went with Primary Deadhead. This gives you a ton of damage, extra headshot multiplier, as well as reduced recoil. Though you can easily replace this with another Arcane like Merciless if you want more reload speed, or another Arcane that doesn't even provide base damage because you get more than enough of it from Cannonade. Ever since the introduction of internal bleeding, the Kuva Chakurr has been an absolute monster. So it should come as no surprise that when you equip it with some new fancy mods, it's gonna be even more ridiculous. So if you don't have the Kuva Chakurr yet, now would be a good time to give it a shot, because it is absolutely ridiculous. And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.